It's not a bad little tent site last night. The creek is just right up over the rise over there, and the trail is just a couple hundred yards on the other side of me. Well, it is just after 6:30 and I am ready to hike, starting my 10 miles into Tennessee Pass. I was looking at the far out the other day in the guidebook, and it's so funny how much I've forgotten because I was so sick last year. There's a lot of steps in the way between here and there that I have forgotten about, but they include crossing a road, crossing railroad crossings, crossing multiple creeks, which is not unexpected. But anyway, I'm hoping that 10 miles will only take me 5 hours or so, and then I'll just be hanging out at Tennessee Pass waiting for Andy to come pick me up for a lovely 0-day in Salida. At least that's the plan. And when you're hiking, plans don't always work out, but hopefully today they will. I really, really love hiking in the forest in the early morning. It is so quiet and peaceful. Most of the time you just hear birds and other critters getting up, starting their days at the same time I'm starting mine. And it's just an amazing feeling. Just coming down this hill and looked over and saw there's a really nice campsite there too. It's a little steep here, slippery. Isn't that pretty? Thought this would be a good spot to mention something that's been kind of on my mind for a couple days. And I know sometimes when I'm climbing, I say, oh, this is brutal, or, mention that things are slippery or whatever it might be. And I hope you don't think I'm complaining when I say that. It all comes with the trail, and I know it's part of the experience. There's a saying that you have to embrace the suck to be successful, and it's true. So there's really times where you're absolutely elated and full of joy, and other times where you're just like, this is bad. I'm not sharing that to be negative. I'm sharing it because I think it's important to let you know what the entire experience is like. And I know there are tons of YouTubes out there that will give you the Instagram experience, how pretty it is, and the glorious views, and all of those kinds of things, which are definitely part of the trail. But there's also some hard times too. So I just want to be frank about that and let you know what my full experience is. Yours may differ. As I say, your mileage may differ. But anyway, that's my style. So I hope that you're not taking that the wrong way. And when I'm comparing things to last year being sick, it's not so much that I'm complaining about having been sick last year. It's that it's a very interesting contrast to me to see just how much my vision and my experience was clouded by being sick and not really realizing I was that sick. So I think that's really a lesson to me that I probably should have paid more heed to my health and not tried so hard to hang on to the goal that was so important to me. I should have just gone home the first time the doctor sent me home and rested and come back this year. But instead I kept trying, and I wasn't really doing myself any favors because I was a lot sicker than I realized. So I don't know what the message is in there for you, but maybe it's just be mindful of your health and take care of it, and don't put your health aside in the pursuit of a goal that's important, because there, God willing, will always be another chance to try. I do remember this little stretch. The trail is blocked off there. It was a brand new reroute last year. And if you look over that way, it's kind of cut into the side of the mountain, and it gets really steep up ahead. And there was a ton of fresh gravel on there, so it was super slippery. But I'm hoping this year it's a little more broken in and a little less dicey. Last year, the reroute was so new that it wasn't even showing up and far out, and I was really confused. I remember standing here and walking down a ways and walking back and walking down, trying to find my way. And eventually, I did get to where I was supposed to be, but that also turned out to be the night that Andy got worried about me and called out the search and rescue in the morning because my Garmin had pinged in a canyon, one canyon over where it shouldn't have, and my message to him showing where I actually was did not go through. So that was a little bit of a wild night or wild morning, but thankfully we're all good today. Gonna get some water and cross the creek. I am not sure I can ford that without getting my feet wet. There's a section over there that looks like it might be a stretch for my short legs, but I'm gonna give it a go. I thought it best to put my phone away. There was one spot there in the middle where a rock rolled, so I got one wet foot, but that's all right. Well, I just lost the windscreen for my microphone somewhere here on the trail, so that's a bummer. Oh wait, I think I see it. Yay! Well, that's good. Number one, because I don't want to lose it. Number two, because I don't like leaving trash on the trail. So anyway, glad I found it. And I wanted to tell you that I came down that stretch and it was way, way better than last year. There's a bunch of switchbacks now, and I think maybe either the section that I did that was like straight down and covered with gravel was possibly a temporary reroute, or they were just doing a whole bunch of work to make the trail a little bit more user-friendly. So anyway, I'm glad that it was much better than last year. The creek was beautiful, and I am heading on. I was just thinking I haven't really seen any hikers at all this morning, except that section of hikers heading out early. And then I passed 3 day hikers, and they're 9 miles from the trailhead. It's only 7:30 in the morning, so they're kicking some butt. Way to go, ladies. There's a car down there, and I know pretty soon we'll be heading over to Camp Hale, which I think is in the distance. That's where the 10th Mountain Division trained. It makes you wonder if those ladies actually hiked 9 miles this morning. Maybe they hiked somewhat less, but either way, props to them for getting out and enjoying the morning. Just came down off the mountain, and it looks like I'm in for a little stretch of road walking. I think I'll be kind of on and off the road for a bit this morning. And it's back to the woods. Ironically, you can continue straight on this road if you so choose, because this route just goes up and kind of parallels the road and comes back out in a parking area. I'm going to opt for the trail because number one, it's the trail, and number two, a lot more shade, so much cooler. So here's the trailhead, and across the way beyond those cars is where I go back up into the trees. This whole area is part of Camp Hale. There's acres and acres and acres and acres. And it was a training facility for the 10th Mountain Division for mountain warfare back in the 40s. And it was open until the 60s, I think, when it was decommissioned. Andy and I came here a couple months ago just to check it out because it's near Tennessee Pass, and we were doing a shakedown hike up there. It's really fascinating history, and it's hard to believe, looking at how kind of rural and undeveloped this is, that there were actually buildings everywhere and tens of thousands of people living here conducting training operations that were vital to our success in World War II. So pretty amazing place. And there is a memorial for the 10th Mountain Division up at Tennessee Pass when I get there. But this is kind of an interesting place to knock around. Not a ton to see because most of the buildings are gone, but still kind of fascinating if you're a history buff. Took a nice little break at the trailhead there and chatted with a couple who's going out for a day hike. And now I'm going to turn down this road, go straight ahead. At the end, there's a little spring and some buildings left over from Camp Hale. And then I'm up into the woods, and I've got about 7 miles to go, I think. Not quite 7 miles. I Can't really tell from this side, but those berms over there are the back of the buildings that are left. I've been doing some climbing. It's gotten a lot warmer than it was when I first started hiking, so it might be time to shed a layer. Good morning, can you get by?
Yeah, I'm by myself, thank you.
Okay, cool, thank you. Best way to summon a cyclist. Decide it's time to change your clothes in the middle of the trail. Best way to summon a hiker. Pee. I've been trying to force feed myself a breakfast cookie all morning and not having very good luck. There's really nothing wrong with the cookie. It's a little hard, a little dry, but I think it's supposed to be that way. But unfortunately, my stomach is rebelling once again, and I'm very much looking forward to the day when it stops. I am just about to cross that road, and the railroad track's just beyond it. All right, that's the road crossing, yay! Cars go pretty fast, but thankfully it's not super busy, so it's not hard to wait for a moment where it's safe. Well, that's interesting to see. I did not realize there were moose in this area. I also did not know that moose saw dogs as aggressors. I've heard this railroad is defunct, but I'm not going to hang around on the tracks to find out. I'm going to run over and head that way. Got about 3 more miles to Tennessee Pass. And this area I'm hiking through, I believe, is called Piney Gulch. And then I believe I've just gotten some Forest Service road, a little bit uphill, and I will be there. This is what they call a bluebird day. Crystal clear skies. Absolutely gorgeous. This is the old logging road. It's about 2 miles up to Tennessee Pass. Feels longer. So it doesn't look like much, but the pile of rocks there is the remains of the old coke ovens that used to use to make coal. That means that I'm very close to the end of my hike for the day, and I'm very tired. So I'm gonna hustle on down there and flake out. Well, I made it and just spoke to Andy, and he should be here soon. So perfect timing.